Sitting on the fucking sofa waiting on some shit. They ain't came with that money yet. I told you they wasn't gonna come with that money. They ain't wanna keep all that money to themselves. Our ancestors went through all that shit, don't wanna give us no money. What you need money for if your ancestors got tarred and feathered? What you want money for? Cuz we suffered. Your ass didn't suffer. Your ass grew up in Beverly Hills. But they did, but you didn't. What you talking about? What you want reparation for? You mean you want your land? You don't even got no land? You just want some money? I'm saying though, why we can't get no money? We can't get no money? Y'all gotta give us some money or something. Your ass just want some money. Y'all just want some money. You don't care nothing about what your ancestors went through. Nigga, if you care about what your ancestors went through, how about y'all don't tell the other story? Tell the other story too when they got together. After all the shit they went through, they still was able to get together, build Black Wall Street, all that, with nothing. Your ass just want some money. That's all these folks just want. They got their eyes on the Cadillac they've been watching for 3 years. Is any of that slavery? Is that slavery money coming? God damn. Y'all look at this shit just like another bill, another stimulus check. That's some lazy shit. I don't want no reparation. All the history I know, I ain't waiting nobody to give me no damn reparation. What the fuck I want some reparation for, nigga? What the money for? Oh, because we had killed y'all babies 400 years ago. You killed a baby 400 years ago. What the fuck that got to do with me, nigga, right now? What the money gonna do right now? How about give me a time machine so we go back and undo this shit? We can't. All right, so how the fuck you gonna pay me for some shit that happened 400 years ago and I wasn't even there? What the fuck I'm getting paid for? That don't make sense. That's not how reparations work. They fooling y'all. Reparations is when you are a nation of people and the nation of people has been destroyed. And there's tangible evidence of that destruction, and everybody's tied to that nation. And they got to come in and fix what the fuck they did to that nation. You standing on Native American land, asking for reparations while these Native Americans are sitting in reserves or reservations. You ask for reparations, they in reservations. You see what I'm saying? The only nation that would have been destroyed would have been the Native American tribes who were here. So that's what I'm saying. Are you a part of the Native Americans who were here? And even still, that's not even a reparation question. Your land, you got to get your land back. You talking about resources, not just no little money. Fuck the money. So no, what you want reparation for? That shit's stupid to me. Cause all you folk gonna do is get reparation. Then did you fix the situation for real? Cause what they gonna make the excuses say, well, we've been mentally messed up. We dealing with so much trauma. Okay, money ain't gonna fix that. Money ain't gonna fix no trauma. Listen, you said Japanese. The Japanese have a trust. The Japanese are a nation. What the fuck is black? You say the Jews are the Yiddish, nigga, they're a nation. What is black? That's not a nation. You understand? Black don't have no nation. Black don't have no language. They don't have no land to tie to. So how are they going to give you reparations on that? You're being fooled. They can't give reparations on that or they would have done it. It's that simple. They would have done it. They can't do that because there is no black. There's no black nation. You see what I'm saying? So, I mean, you can wait on it. Don't get mad at me. I ain't do it. Y'all be taking all you got anger. You think it's not a nation? Leave it alone then. All right, the Jews ain't no nation. And they got reparations before you. That's crazy. Because you're not a nation. Black is not a nation and you still ain't got reparations. So if you're waiting on reparations, that's on you. And you have the right to do that. Yeah, the Japanese in America got reparations because they're still a nation. They're still a nation of people. It's organized. They can send it somewhere. You don't just give Japanese reparations. You have to send it somewhere. And they have to be able to give it out to the people. Y'all been fooled. Who they gonna send it to? If they give black people reparations, here's the problem. Y'all want to individually receive y'all reparations. Y'all want $200,000 apiece. Y'all want $300,000 apiece. As opposed to them sending $4.7 billion to an estate or to a trust or to a treasury. And then your leaders decide where the money goes and how the money is used to rectify whatever the issues were that would have led for reparations being needed. You don't have that. Niggas just want some money in their own individual pockets. And all that's going to do is going to be funneled right back into the economy. Funneled right back into the machine that you say owes you reparations. You're just going to pay them back. So they're going to give you a loan. You're going to give it back to them. It's going to circulate again. You're not going to build communities with it. You're not going to find a language with it. You're not going to find a nation with it. You're not going to find a culture with it. You're going to build individually. Everybody going to be rich for one summer, and then you're going to be back crying again talking about, we haven't figured it out. It's not the money. Money is not going to repair you. They got plenty billionaires. 14 billionaires alone will come up with $10 billion. And if they took 1% of that $10 billion as a conglomerate, if they took 1% of that, that's $1 billion. $1 billion could fix up your communities in America. Just $1 billion. That's 14 celebrities alone if you calculate their net worth. From Denzel Washington, Will Smith, Beyonce, all these black men, that shit is fake. But if you want something fake, go right ahead. You got the right to do it. Any other questions? What's that? 1450. Questions? Yeah, push-ups. I'm at 1550. 1,550 push-ups for the day so far. Tell these folks, get up. They don't see me June 26th. They don't know who they looking at. What will be the next steps to truly heal within our community and begin to uplift? Right now, this late in the game, work on yourself. Work on yourself. Everybody work on themselves. And pull back your energy from these social media grifters, want to be leaders, want to be teachers that ain't showed you anything. They had time. They had time. They had over 20 years to show you something. Listen. If you're not a part of the NOI, stop waiting on the NOI. The NOI is going to look out for their people, their members, those who are with them. You know what I'm saying? If you're not a Moor, stop waiting on the Moors. They're not going to take the land back. They don't have the route. They're going to look out for themselves. They're going to look out for how they govern their affairs. And that's going to be the end of that. You see what I'm saying? Stop waiting on these people. Work on yourself. Build on yourself. Don't get caught up in the spirituality trick. All right? And don't get caught up in the religion trick. All these tricks is about waiting on something mystical to help you. You see? Or some mystical somebody. Spiritual people swear they're not in religion, swear they're not up in, and they waiting on one person to bring them some information. You notice they still be up under people. You ain't supposed to be up under anybody. Work on yourself. That's how you start literally uplifting. Work on your health. Get off these phones. Stop spending so much time on these phones, just sitting there. You know what I'm saying? Letting life pass away. Work on your health. Work on your finances and build. Everybody in the community start doing that. Guess what happens? The community changes. Dr. Umar is a scam artist. Tell him to complete one of those projects. That's a scam artist. But he's a scam artist that's an orator, so you can't tell. Y'all take talk for works, and I don't like that. I don't like that. That makes me upset. Y'all take people talking to make it seem like they doing the work. That's not work. Just because you sitting on the Breakfast Club, warming a seat, that don't mean you're getting work done for the community. That means a lot of people from the community are watching you sit in the seat and making it warm. Tell them what's going on with the school. Keep bringing up the school. Because they keep trying to dodge that. Tell them what's going on with the school. You understand? And then when you're done with that, realize that the school was never a solution for black people. It was a solution for him, his businesses, and his pockets. Because even if the school was built, it would have just been a school. That's it. You know how many schools you pass by that teach little black boys? You ain't never heard of Best Academy? I mean, what are we doing? You know how many schools there are that we need black schools? So what are historically black colleges and universities? What is that? What are those? We already got black schools. He scammed you. We already have schools and institutions that only teach melanin dominant people. Go look it up. We already got groups of men that are just only focused on helping little black boys. Go look it up. They just didn't have no huge platform. So he made it seem as though he was about to do something that was going to be different. But go look at what I just told you. The same thing Umar Johnson was telling y'all for 14 years he was going to build. It hasn't built. It hasn't finished. It's not up and running. It's not booming. And it's not changing lives. That same thing happens all over in your community and you walk past it every day because it's not on your phone screen. Y'all full of it. Don't tell me that you won't change and you walk past change literally every day and you don't pick up on it. Umar Johnson. Stop letting these people waste your time. That's my holler. I just said the Nation of Islam is doing for themselves. What has the Nation of Islam done for you? Does the Nation of Islam come into the communities to make sure that the sisters don't have their lights off and that the children are fed? Do they come into the communities, make sure ain't no 13-year-old girl standing on the corner or riding in a car with somebody who's an elder man? Does the Nation of Islam make sure that there's no violence in the communities without just giving some sermon at a safe building that's secure? Does the Nation of Islam actually move around as soldiers of our community, or do they move around as soldiers of their own nation? There's nothing wrong with that. Just stop waiting on them. They're not going to do it. They're going to look after for themselves. They're going to look after their women. And there's nothing wrong with that. What is wrong is if you're thinking that that means they're going to look out for black people. When I've talked to them, and I got it on record, and members of the NOI was saying that they weren't going to look out for a female because she wouldn't want to come to the NOI. Did the same thing the church did. Say, oh, now you want the NOI to help you, but you was dressing this way and doing this, that, or the third. So what? You see what I'm saying? So what? Not everybody that is NOI started off as some clean deenie. And not every NOI is a clean deenie. You see? So what is this holier than thou thing? When niggas get in a suit or sisters dressing in all white, and all of a sudden they were not where they were at one point in time. The NOI is going to look out for themselves. If you don't know how to sign the most honorable Elijah Muhammad's, peace be upon him, signature, if you ain't standing on posts, if you don't got the lessons, if you ain't been back and forth from the west and the east, if you don't understand what the mothership and everything was supposed to be about, if you ain't read their sciences, message to the black man, if you ain't read their doctrine, their books, they're not checking for you. If you ain't supporting their bean pie, their final call, they're not checking for you. If you ain't present for the swan song, and if you can't show homage and pay homage and reverence to the minister as they declare him, or the cleric as they declare him, they're not checking for you. You know, you wouldn't know if they were, because you look out your window, and it's enough members of the Nation of Islam that no matter where you are, you will look out your window and you'll see them. You see the Jehovah's Witnesses more than you see the Nation of Islam. They're not checking for you, not in your communities, but in the hot spots of the communities where they know money is, like in the West End, right there where all that traffic come through, you'll see them right there. And if you don't buy, they'll keep moving. Bean pie brother. How are you, brother? You should come down to the mosque, check us out. Here you go right here. Oh, thank you, brother. What about that? And on to the next car. Not no, brother, what can we do in your community to help you? How are you? Do you have money in your pocket? No, that's not how they move. So is there anything wrong with that? No and yes. What's the no? The no is there's nothing wrong with doing for self and kind. Their self, their lineage, their family, their root, their offspring, and kind. Those who are around them on the same path, same mission, same beliefs. That's regular stuff. What is wrong with it? What's wrong with it is that they siphon off of people who believe in them, thinking that one day it's going to change. It's going to shift from self and kind to being those who are not self and kind. And that's not going to happen. They're going to look out for themselves. Hebrew Israelites are going to look out for themselves. Just like the Christians in the church. If you ain't a church member, they'll turn you away. They'll look out for themselves. The Muslims look out for themselves. They gather together and look out for each other. They practice the deen together. They prostrate, pray, salat together. They don't care nothing about what's on the outside. When are we going to get it to where everyone is caring about one another? No matter what your religion is, no matter what your belief system is. You understand? When we get it like that, then you could tell me about a community. There is no community. That's why they're able to scam people based on the demographic. You see? When you don't believe in what these people are selling, they can't scam you. And that's all across the board. I ain't talking about just some guy sitting in the sky. When you don't believe that pro-black is something that's going to liberate you, they can't scam you no more. All right, if I tell you, come downstairs, I'm going to cook you some pancakes. And you come downstairs and I don't have no pancakes. What does that tell you? I just lied. But what if I say, well, no, I'm going to get pancakes. Right? And you say, okay, I'll wait. And you wait. And I never get pancakes. What does that tell you? I just lied. But no, I want you to teach your children that I'm going to get pancakes made. Your children grow up and realize I don't have no pancakes. But I'm still telling you and your children, now you telling your children, just wait, it's coming. I say, see, listen to what your parents say. Because I trained your parents to believe in me. Because I'm the minister. Or because I'm the cleric. Or because I'm the imam. Or because I'm the reverend. Or because I'm the sheikh. Or because I'm the head this, the head that, the supreme this, the supreme that. If you're a part of the lodges. Or the worshipful master. I'm this, that, and the third. Believe on me. It's going to happen. Okay, when are you going to get the pancakes? And then every now and again, somebody comes along and stands up. It might be the great-great-grandchild. It says, excuse me. Everybody looks at him. Whispers. I just want to ask, we've been waiting on these pancakes. My great-grandmama was waiting on the pancakes. My great-great-grandmama was waiting on the, my great-great-great-grandmama was waiting on the pancakes. My grandmama was waiting on the pancakes. My mama will wait on the pancakes. All right, I'm not my great-great-grandparents. I'm not my grandparents. I'm not my mama. I'm not my father. I'm me, and I'm asking, where the pancakes? Right? I'll take my whooping. Yep, I'll get a whooping. Yeah, here it comes. Yeah, I'll take that. All right, cool. All right, after we're done with the whooping, I'm going to stand up again. He ain't got no. Okay, I want to ask again. We've been waiting on these pancakes. Where are the pancakes? Okay, another whooping. Here it comes. I know. Who's whooping me? The people who I'm trying to liberate. The people who I'm trying to show, nigga, this whole thing has been a scam. We're not going to fix it if we don't realize ain't no pancakes. It's no pancakes. I'll take the whooping. Here it comes. Yeah, all right, cool. Oh, that's harder than last time. That's okay. That's a different belt. Okay. Or using a buckle. That's different. Okay. Creative. All right. After that, I'm going to stand up again. And then what are they going to do? They're going to say, that's a CIA agent. Okay. If I'm a CIA agent, all I'm going to ask you is, if you're going to get rid of me and you look over at that stove, will there be pancakes? And if the answer is no, then what the fuck would have been the difference if I was a CIA agent and these people are true blue? They still ain't got you no damn pancakes. Here come the whooping. And I'll take as many whoopings I got to take before people realize all this shit is a game. You've all been had. But it's like when you realize it, you got to be the bad guy. You've all been had. Every single last one of you. But that's human nature. People were trying to survive and you didn't know it. People just wanted to survive. You didn't know that that's what it was. So they built themselves up in status and stature. And you didn't know that that's what was happening. You see? They started running businesses. You didn't know that that's what was happening. Now, at certain points in times, there were wars to help those people at those times get better treatment and rights and all of that. Yeah. And you'll notice they like to show you Martin Luther King. Why? Because Martin Luther King was a businessman that when he carried out his business, it benefited those who were with him and it benefited those who were not with him. And because of that, they glorified him. They boosted him up. And then when they got afraid, okay, according to the counterintelligence program, they were doing this and writing this out anyway. When they got afraid that he was going to start adapting or adopting the militant state that Malcolm was adopting and adapting, they said, we got to take him out. And they said they would do that if they figured out that he was a problem. So when he started to meet with Malcolm about actually organizing and actually forming a militia, military, all of that, and not just having people who were church-going people, you're not just going to have a merging of two black men. You're going to have a merging of, quote-unquote, two black men, everyone who follows them, and two religions. And the two religions, while separate, were able to conquer and divide those people to keep them from working with one another, ever. Christians will never want to work with Muslims, and Muslims will never want to work with Christians. Meaning, as a whole. Why? Because Christians swear that they're right, Muslims swear that they're right, and both of them are wrong. And I think you're starting to see it. The more we talk to these people, they don't know what they're talking about. And do people have the right to believe and be wrong? Yeah. Did we do that when we were children? A lot of people did. They believed in things that just were not true. They have the right to do that because human beings are figuring it out. What you don't have the right to do is get upset with or bash other people because they done figured out family. There are no pancakes in there. They're lying to you. Jesus is coming back. Okay, no, he isn't. First of all, you don't even know who Jesus would be. You don't know where he'd be coming from. And if he's coming back, you wouldn't know him. How did he come the first time? He arrived as a human being, mortal, in the flesh. Y'all killed him. Okay, all right, what's to say when you see him this time, you won't try to kill him again? If it's a him, what if it's a woman? Well, what would be the purpose of Jesus needing to come back to save you if he already gave you everything you need to save yourself? You see? If you're supposed to be preparing yourself for the kingdom, family, you prepare yourself for the kingdom. That's it. He gave you every blueprint, every key, every piece, every mystery in the story to go ahead and save yourself. What are you waiting on? What people don't understand is why these pastors and these people that are calling themselves reverend to be reverent or revered are standing there giving them this lie. If you read the story, you're not preparing yourself to be saved. You're preparing yourself to be saved. So a lot of people are, okay, let me give you the difference because some people got confused. You're not preparing yourself to be saved. You're preparing yourself to be saved. Let me show you what preparing yourself to be saved versus preparing yourself to be saved would mean. Okay, let's say you're sitting on the couch and you're waiting for someone to come and pick you up. Let's say you're a school child and you're waiting on what? The school bus. If you sit your behind on that couch, the bus driver is not going to get out of his vehicle, come to where you are, open your door, walk in, grab you, pick you up, walk out of your door, close it, go and walk you across your lawn, past your gate, past the dogs, past all of that, and put you on the school bus, put you in the seat, then go and take off. No, the bus pulls up when it's time. But if you were not prepared to save yourself, meaning preparing yourself to be saved, then you don't know, you got to walk to that bus. So while people are waiting on Jesus to come back, what's to say they ain't already parked outside your planet waiting on you to get to the bus? If Jesus comes with clouds, nigga, he not coming to be birthed, to be walking amongst you. That means you're waiting on Jesus, but Jesus would be in a craft. Wouldn't he be? Or a vehicle coming down from God out of heaven. Where will you be when they pull up? Or where will you be when we pull up? Meaning, where will you be when those who you think are just random beings assemble and say, come hither, it is time. But they're not going to say it to the world. They're going to say it to you directly. But how will you hear? How will you hear when you're waiting on reparations? How will you hear when you're sitting in a lodge waiting on someone to tell you how to build? How will you hear when you're on Instagram scrolling and watching all? How will you hear when you're distracted from all these other things in the world that you say you're ready to go beyond? We know whether or not people are serious. People don't really believe in hell. You think it's a good idea. People don't really believe in heaven. You think it's a good idea. What I mean by that? The contrast of heaven and hell, you think it's a good idea. You think that if someone says you're good, you'll go to heaven. Good. All right. So when everybody dies, what do people do? They never have no images of people surrounded by skeletons and demons and hellfire. Every time somebody dies, they turn them into an angel with clouds around them, which is weird, right? Because when you die, why are there clouds? Clouds are a part of your water cycle in the physical plane, correct? Okay, so are you telling me that there's another water cycle in another dimension with other clouds? You see? Why are you painting images and putting up images of people with wings and clouds and halos, all visible things, if you're saying this person has transcended into a spiritual plane? Clouds are physical. So if Jesus comes with clouds, that's a physical occurrence. That's not something that happens when you die. They don't know what they're saying. So the point would be, you have been bamboozled. There are no pancakes. Ain't no Jesus coming back. Not how they told you. Let me tell you what Jesus coming back will look like. Jesus coming back will look like this. Let me find an image. It will look just like this. This will be Jesus coming back. Right? Now, here's what I need you to pay attention to. You look in the background, you see all those stores, you see all those highways, you see all those strip clubs, you see all those schools and universities, you see all this stuff in the background. You see how you don't see all this stuff in the background? Exactly. All you see is trees, water, and sky. And a few people, you can count them off. You see about 9 people. You don't see masses of people. You don't see Joel Osteen with his mega churches. You don't see niggas flying on the ceiling talking about pastor. No, you don't see that. Do you see any of them in the suits? No, you don't see that. You just see a few people, like in the Close Encounters of the Third Kind movie, that were able to be guided to an isolated place. Am I right? Okay. Many are called, few are chosen. Am I correct? You are correct. All right. So then it will be the elect few that Yeshua would be coming for. It would not be the masses. So the masses have been lied to. In their story, they say many are called, few are chosen. In a story, they say 144,000, 1 and 4 and 4, redeemed from the earth. In their story, they say many will be destroyed by the fire, a weapon. They're lying to you. The second death is a weapon, not what happens when you die. It is a weapon that will destroy hell and earth. Hell was Sheol. It did not mean a fiery place. It meant the center of your planet, underneath the ground, the grave or the pit. They said they were going to destroy everything with the fire. You see, that's in the Bible and El Quran. The Quran. Both stories saying something's coming to this place. You better be numbered amongst the few. So how will you know? You don't see no cameras. You don't see no video. You don't see none of that. You just see vehicles. Go watch the movie Knowing. In the movie Knowing, what did you see? They went off into the distance. A few people who were able to activate specific glands, parts of themselves, say it that way. And you'll see that because they showed you that as a black stone. Go watch the movie again, and this time watch for the black stones. Those black stones are activated glands. How do you know the glands activated? Because Dr. Malachi York explained, which they get the movie concepts from people like Dr. Malachi York, Knowing. Go watch it again, and you'll see the Etherians, the vehicle types, the whisper people, the telepathic communication, all of that. Right? He explained that you're activating certain things. Clairvoyance. Some of y'all might experience that. I'm not saying you will. Some of y'all may. Clairvoyance, being able to see things and you're not there. Clairvision, clairvoyance. Telepathy, being able to speak far off or get a message from far off and you don't even know when it's happening. Sometimes you might just realize that you'll start talking to somebody saying the same thing. Y'all start speaking at the same time, saying the exact same thing. Okay, sometimes that's dealing with proximity because it happens a lot in people in relationships. Okay. but you'll have telepathy. Another is intuition. Your intuition gets so strong, you can pick up on a lie easily. As a matter of fact, sometimes it happens to be lying all the time. You see? And what's the last one? Psychometry. Psychometry is a whole different degree. People don't really want to talk about it, but psychometry is when you could touch objects. Roll back. You can touch objects and know who they belong to, right? Well, what did that mean? That means that you're tapped into the tethering of reality and how information is registered in what you think is just the material plane's third dimensional construct. So you can not just touch objects and know who they belong to. You can reach in between what you think reality is and pull information from it. So just shifting yourself or walking into a building, all right, you'll get information. You see? If you're a psychometrist, meaning if you have the ability to activate psychometry in yourself, you will be a hell of a detective. You walk onto a crime scene, you know everything. You understand? And that's what's really a lot of detectives are leaning toward, that type of ability. This is what Jesus coming back would look like. Clouds don't come from outer space, family. They lied. What is outer space? Outer space is heaven, family. They lied. Heaven is not some city floating on a cloud. How many people know a city can't float on a cloud? Why? That condensation is not solid material in by way of something can sit on it. You try to sit a box on vapor. You understand? When we know states of matter now, don't we? We understand the water cycle now, don't we? So none of this stuff is mystical to us. This is what it would look like if Jesus came back. Now, where would you be when they pulled up? Where were you last year when the drones were flying around that they were calling drones? Angels in training, when we turned on the camera, training, when we turned on the camera, let you see something. How many people were there that night, though? Okay, a very specific moment occurred, right? Where the electricity in the neighborhood went out twice. No, the whole neighborhood. And my brother, by the way, was saying he was on a truck, or he was saying that it reached the power lines or into a whole other place. It wasn't just happening right where we could see it. Point being, the electricity went out in the neighborhood, but what happened when the electricity went out in the neighborhood? I'm not going to say it, because if I say it, y'all going to think I'm coaching people. What happened, for those who were there to witness it, when the electricity went out in the neighborhood? And when they answer, I'm going to bring your attention to something that occurred last year, and I want you to see something and see how people been being tricked and beguiled. Right? What happened when the electricity went out? There was a very specific occurrence. I only take the answer for somebody who was there. I'm sure they commented. Sometimes they just roll back slow on my side. All right, one of the brothers said it. The sky flashed green. That's true, and he was there. Green light flashed above my head. Okay, that's true, and he was there. You see how that come in at the same time? How that come in at the same time? All right. The lights went out, then the sky flashed green. He was there. It was undeniable in the moment in which it occurred that this was the reason. You see? Now watch. Last year, June 26th, do you remember when I went live and I said, come and see, and you can see all the electricity. What is an electric storm? No rain, no thunder, just electricity. G, back to back. And I kept saying, y'all see it? Y'all see the green? Green. I went back and watched the video later, realized you really can't see the green. But some people on the live was saying that they could. I could see it in real time, but the sisters who was around me couldn't see it at that time. Now watch. Eventually, they went inside, and I stood back a little bit to observe more of what was occurring around me. And then a green light flashed. And when it flashed, guess what happened? All of the power in the neighborhood went out. Then it came back on. And this happened twice. Now, that was June 26th. As a matter of fact, the first green flash took place a little before June 26th because the green flash itself, that wasn't a flash, it lasted for about 3 seconds. That was at 12 a.m., June 26th. The birth time and birthday of Dr. Malachi Z. York in accordance to what he taught. Where he said the green light went into him. The incarnation occurred. Do you understand? Am I telling you to believe me? No, I'm telling you I have witnesses, but it don't matter because you have to walk yourself to the school bus. I ain't coming in your house to pick you up. I don't want you to believe me because it ain't going to help you. I said, I don't believe it. And I said it at age 9. You have to understand how far back this goes. Over a prayer where we were praying over our food. All right, Most High, I ask that you bless this food that we're about to receive for the health and the nourishment of our body. I said, wait a minute. I was 9. I said, wait a minute. I said, Umi. She said, Tua. She said, yes. I said, how are we any different than the Christians if the Christians say, God, I ask that you bless this food that we're about to receive for the health and the nourishment of our bodies. Amen. And all we do is say, Most High, I ask that you bless this food that we're about to receive for health and the nourishment of our bodies. Amen. We only changed 2 things. And we don't know who Anu is either. We don't know who the Most High is. The Christians don't know who God is. They could be talking to something that's made up. And she didn't have an answer for me. She was like, that's a good question. So I don't know. When I realized that at 9, that's when my actual walk into being an initiate started. Where you cannot be a believer. You have to question everything. Now, this was something that Dr. York was teaching us, and I questioned it. So when they realize that happens, stay with me, don't believe me, just hear me. When they realize that you're able to question, then you can take the walk. A believer can't take the walk. Let me give you an example. Musa was a believer. So he believed things should be a certain way. He had a moral compass, all of that. And when he began to walk with El-Khidr, okay, Melchizedek, the real Melchizedek, not the one in the trailer with a knot on his head. When he began to walk with the real Melchizedek, will the real Melchizedek please stand up? He said, yo, you can't be asking me all these questions. Just keep walking. You don't know what I know. You want to learn? All right, be the student. You hear me? So the real Melchizedek went, sank somebody in the ship, killed a little boy, destroyed a village, took walls down. Musa didn't understand any of this stuff and questioned every time. And every time El-Khidr reminded him, say, listen, didn't I tell you, don't ask me shit. Don't run over my hill with the buggy. Don't touch shit. Wait till we get out the store. You're not the shopper. I'm showing you how to shop. Moses like, okay, I got it. I fucked up. Okay, I'm going to do it again. Second time he did it again. Say, yo, didn't I tell you, don't ask me shit. Let me show you. He's like, my bad. Damn. Okay, fuck. Okay, I got it. The third time, he said, you're going to have to depart from me. You cannot walk with me when you think you know what this is. You can't. You think you know what this is. You done got a little cocky. You don't know what this is because you have a belief that you think you know. You see? So when you have the ability to ask questions, not question someone, there's a way to ask questions and not question. You see? And you can ask a question to yourself, scientifically speaking, and still pursue the goal. to get the information. This is a sacred. Watch this. And so what does Jesus, or what would have Jesus, Jesus, what would it have meant? It would have meant a rescuer. Someone coming to salvage or allow a way. You see? To help. A helper. Rescuer. It is not a person. It is a role. They got you waiting on a person. All three of these beings in this image is Jesus. You're not just looking at one vehicle. That would be a trick. You see all them other vehicles behind that one vehicle? In the movie Knowing, there weren't just two people taken from the planet. You got to watch it all the way through. There were a few, and they were taken in different crafts and put in different places. El Quran says what? Allah is Lord of many worlds. The Bible says what? In my Father's home, what's his Father's home? Our Father who are in outer space, heaven, Opranos. Tell them play with me. There are many mansions. So in my Father's abode is the word, which is the heavens, outer space. There are many locations in which different beings live, the heavenly hosts. So if he has to go and provide or prepare a place for you, I go and prepare a place for you. That place will be a place of provision. That is called rizq. That means if this is true, no matter where you would be taken to, that is rizq. So tell the people who say Malachi made up rizq, who are Christians who believe in heaven, that the place provided is just rizq. So if you're taken to a place outside of the planet Earth and they put you in a particular location and say, here is where you will sup. Here is where you will live out your days without sorrow, without death, without crying, woo. That's rizq. A place prepared for you or provided for you. Provision. Rizq. You can call it a planet. What's wrong with calling it a planet? Why does that sound so crazy? It may not be a planet to begin with. Your first place of provision may be a ship. When you have the ability to travel light years across the galaxies, you don't think they have resources? Let me tell you how you would know it would be a vehicle to begin with. Because they say there would be no need for a sun or a moon, that the tree in the center would be the light. Listen, you don't need a sun and a moon on a vehicle traveling through space. You're no longer even in the time belt of the earth realm. Time for earthlings is just based on relativity, the stars, the moon, and the sun. You leave the solar system, that's no longer that time belt, literally. You understand? So a day to you may be like 1,000 years scaling. This is a map to wherever God would be. You see? So for God to come into the earth plane and enter into the earth's atmosphere, you go study time dilation theory by Einstein. Not saying it's true, just study it. You'll see the closer you get to the gravitational center of a plane, the slower time moves. And so leaving the earth would what? Speed up time. Am I losing anyone? They put it in the movies. They put it in Interstellar. They even called it Interstellar. You understand? The ability to travel between star systems, stellar. But they'll call Dr. York crazy and then make a movie about it, right? They'll call Dr. York crazy, but then tell us somebody's coming to save us. But Dr. York must be a cult leader. He's saying what the Bible is saying. He just made it make more sense. He's saying what the Quran is saying. He just made it make more sense. So you played yourself. If he's crazy, all of you are crazy. and it's all a lie. If that's the case, then there is no Jesus. Because he's just saying Jesus is coming. As a matter of fact, he said Jesus is coming. But not how they tell you. So all three of these beings in this image is Jesus or would be Jesus if they're coming. Same story repeats over and over and over, and it's happening now. Don't call me Jesus. I'm just saying there is a messenger here called Dr. Malachi York who put out all of these sciences in such a short period of time. And the sciences are so strong. Let me tell you how strong they are. How strong are they? The sciences are so strong that the 3-year-old, okay, grew up to be phase 1 and they cannot touch him. And that same person who was 3 years old when Dr. York disappeared, meaning the masses no longer saw him in the form in which he do what they say was the arrest. That same 3-year-old, y'all just told you what I showed you. Here, I show you a mystery. Only the mystics can show you a mystery. Only an angel can train you to be an angel. I hope you understand that only the sheriff, only the lieutenant, only the sergeant can bring you in as a soldier to rise up in the ranks, to become a sheriff, to become a lieutenant, to become a general. Only. So watch this. If it's just SBI, meaning just men getting together, then it would just be men getting together. We've had NOI for a long time. Do the NOI do angelic works and signs? No. What about the Hebrew Israelites? No. Can the Hebrew Israelites gather in 5 points and show you a mystery? No. What about the Masons? No. The Moors? No. Have you seen it ever that any of these groups have gathered together and shown you a mystery? No. Yet those who have witnessed it, you got to see that only a few of SPI, Supreme Being Initiates, came together and everyone saw the mysteries. Not just one. You got to count all of it. You got to count that y'all was standing in a circle and I was walking around you and I was chanting and saying and repeating, yeah, noon. They try to say chanting is bad just because they don't understand the language. In church, they chant. How do they chant, Omari? Go listen to the gospel song. They say, hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. That's chanting. As a matter of fact, there's a few different things you need to know about that word if you want to know. But Hallel is Lucifer. So when you're saying Hallel, Yah, you're saying Lucifer is God. If it matters to you. And also, when they say Yahuwah, hallelujah, hey, Yahuwah, that's what the Native Americans used to chant. So you think you're that much different than the next person because one person saying Yahuwah, one person saying hallelujah, and one person is saying Yahusha or Yeshua, another person saying hua, another person saying hi, hey. Y'all are still calling on the word. And that word is sacred. And it's supposed to be kept sacred to help you find your way back. But people turn it into a religion where they stand in a church and they scream. Right? Imagine how powerful church would be if they weren't playing organs, if they weren't beating on drums and having somebody stand there with a microphone yelling. Imagine how powerful church would be if people just walked in and sat still. You understand? Well, if you walked into a church and people were just sitting there, you would say, this is a cult. But people surrounding themselves with loud noises, screaming and falling and foaming out the mouth and saying they're catching the Holy Spirit and beating their head against the wall, slapping people, collecting money. And all that. That's not a cult. People sitting down, that's a cult. Brothers standing in a circle with the ability to answer tough and difficult questions, with the physical capability to drop down and do 100 push-ups if they get the question wrong, that's a cult. But eating somebody's body and drinking their blood, that's not a cult. You see, they flipped it on you. The ritual is not reality. Ritual is preparation for reality. You see, someone asks, what is Jesus' real name? Well, if you meaning original when you say real, it would have been Yeshua. Yeshu, to begin with. That would have been the first time. Yeshu, salvation. Yeshua, ayin. You add the I there. Ayin means I in Hebrew, E-Y-E. So Yeshua, meaning Yod, the hand that comes into She, Sheen. Yeshua, Yod, She, Yod, Sheen. The hand that comes in to destroy. Ayin. The eye. What eye? There's another story about that. Okay? Because you can flip it and say, well, that was Set then versus Osiris, where the eye was destroyed. Or you can flip it and say that Yeshua's job was to come in and reprove the world of sin. Sin is another eye, the dark eye, attached to the Mesopotamian god called Sin or Suin. Sin, Suin, Sim, Sam, Sema, Sama, poison. The one who poisons the eye. What happens when you poison the eye? You make people blind. All right? What happens when people become blind? They cannot see. What happens when people cannot see? They cannot discern. If they cannot discern, then they'll be up under ghosts worshiping in a church, kirk, magic building, casting spells on themselves, not understanding what they're saying. Hallelujah. Ask people, what does that mean? Hallelujah. What does that mean? You see? Somebody said, hallelujah means praise because it comes from the ancient Hebrew root verb hallel, which originally meant to shine, to flash, or to boast. That shine that you're speaking about, look into that deeper. That is Lucifer. Lux is the light. Luxi. Pharaoh is one who carries it. That's Lucifer, the shiner. What shine was they referring to? Or what they have been referring to? Esh, fire. You see? So that being that shined with that light is the fiery being. Fire being. Nar, Jen. What Jen? Iblis, one who is the adversary, causes to fall lowly. Get down from it. You are of the lowly. Lowly means what? Beneath. Beneath meaning what? Root chakra. Mula, dar. It's all about the money. Money, mammon, riches and wealth. Man cannot serve two masters. You're either going to serve God, Jah, or mammon. Okay? You're going to be outside of the world of money, or you're going to be in the world of money. And a lot of people have become in the world and of the world of money. But these are all sciences to say money is not just money as in what you see. Because if you think that the biblical scripture we're talking about Benjamin Franklin, all right, or Benjamins, or a $10 bill, or Bitcoin, or cryptocurrency. No, it was referring to materialistic possession. Human beings love materialistic possession, and that is what holds them back. You cannot love the world and its material, nesut, and say you want to become melakut. Look at the people who are on the ground around them. That would have been melakut. All right? And then pay attention to those coming down. Only angels can come down. Okay? And then go up. According to the scriptures, you'll know that. Only angels come down and go up. You see? So some people are returning to their nature as an angelic being, and others, they're going to descend. Pay attention to the background for those of y'all who know the album Ascend City, and you'll see that there's a different color at the bottom and a different color at the top. Stay with me. Jesus is already here. There's a story taking place. You have Malachi Z. York. I told you, Malachi Zadok. You have someone called Bando Lando calling himself Melchizedek, and Dr. York's name is Malachi Zadok. I'm going to say it 2 more times. It's going to take you a second. Somebody called Bando Lando, listen, is calling himself Melchizedek. And Malachi's name is Malachi Zadok. Somebody called Bando Lando is calling himself Melchizedek. And Malachi's name is Malachi Zadok. Okay. The Z that you use when you say Malachi Z. York, that Z is Zadok. Zadok means righteousness or justice or truth. Melchi or Malachi, Mem, Lamed, Kaf, Melchi. What does it mean? It means messenger or my messenger. So if Dr. Malachi Z. York brought you the message to not believe anyone, and that is how you break the spell, guess who he is? He is what? Your messenger. No, I'm not saying Malachi Z. York is Jesus. No, he said he isn't Jesus. So let's get that clear. What I'm saying is, if there were to be someone who would be Jesus in this day and time, they would have to be able to bring you a message of true light. Now, that doesn't mean there will only be one Jesus. What I tell you, you got to break out of that. That's religion. Jesus is a word meaning someone who is a rescuer. So if I break a spell and you were under it, did I rescue you? Think about it. If you're under a spell and I break it, and I Jesus, watch this. If you're in a burning building and I come in and I get you out of that burning building and I'm a firefighter, I'm Jesus. If a car is driving and you don't see it and I push you out of the way and you don't get hit by the car, I'm Jesus. I came literally and saved you. I arrived at a point and I helped you. That's what Jesus means. They're trying to make a name out of a role. That's not how it goes linguistically. You understand? These words have meaning as far as a role. That's why you don't see no first name, last name in the biblical scripture. You just see this person's name. That's their role. We would call his name Jesus because he would save his people. That's why they calling him that, because that's what it means. We would call him Emmanuel because it will be God with us. Okay, God with us, Emmanuel. You cannot call him Emmanuel if he is not with you. He left the planet. That's no longer Emmanuel. He has not saved you. So that is not Jesus. That's like if you if you were a firefighter and you retire, you're no longer a firefighter. You understand? I know it's going to take a longer time to break this stuff. You'll find the answer if you let go of the spell of it. If someone isn't saving you, they're not Jesus to you. If someone isn't with you, they're not Emmanuel. They're not God with you. Now, if you read Revelation 21, and they talk about God returning to the planet to be with men, then that would be Emmanuel. He is not Emmanuel after Acts 1:9, when he left the planet. He will only be Emmanuel when he returns. So anyone telling you that his name right now is Emmanuel is lying. Because if they can say Emmanuel, that means God with us, then they need to be able to show you where he at. Okay, where you at? Well, it's the spirit. No, wrong. Your book says you have to confess that he came in the flesh. And he left in the flesh. So where's he at if he's with you? You have to know the language. You have to understand what you're saying. So you're calling on Jesus. You can't call him that until he rescues you. You call him Emmanuel. You can't call him that until he's with you. So what do you call him? Firstly, who are you talking to? When you call out and say, Savior, Savior, Jesus, Jesus, my rescuer. Yeshua, Yeshua. When you call out and say, Jesus, Jesus, who are you talking to? When you call out and say, Abba, Abba, who are you talking to? Who are you talking to? No, look, if I say, yo, I'm looking for Terrence, and you say, he's always around. That's spooky. That's not reality. You have the right to believe that, but that's not real. Where's he at? He's upstairs. I want to talk to him if he's upstairs. But if that nigga's always around, I don't want to talk to nobody else in his family. Where's he at? You see? He can't always be around. You don't know scripture. Because he said, they will not have me always. I will not be with you always. You pay attention? Now, somebody might say, well, he said, I'll be with you always. You have to know the context of what's being spoken. How do you know? Because you have something referred to as the all-seeing eye, the ability to always see what is happening and taking place. You see? Okay, cool. Hey, look, I'm going to let you come up, the person with the bandana, Jazel, I'm going to let you come up in a second. All right, let me do my thing. You spamming it. If you can sit still for a second, I'll pull you up. But don't spam the comments. Because people are listening to what I'm saying, and that becomes a distraction. You see that? So they don't know what Jesus is. But he left in one of those that you're looking at on the screen. They say something took him up and hid behind a cloud. They disguised it. And then he left the planet. You understand? Where did he go? They say to heaven. He returns unto his Father. Now I go unto the Father. Where's his Father? In heaven. Oranos. You see? So it's not spooky. They made it that. Those of y'all who were there to witness the green light a few days ago, all you had to do was make it, didn't you? Some people didn't make it, but you made it. Now you have that. It might inspire other people to make it, right? Okay. Did I press a button? No. First of all, if you think I got a button to shut up all the power in the neighborhood, then, hey, look, I'm flattered. But that happened the exact same way I told you it occurred last year. Now, you bear witness. That's why I asked him. I said, I got a question for you. Do you bear witness? Right? Back to it. I walked around the brothers. I was chanting and calling and reciting Yanun. They had their eyes closed. Why? Well, just because you asked. Because they're in the unseen degree. You cannot access information of the unseen unless you enter into the unseen degree. Do you hear me? They're in an unseen degree. So I walk around them. Yanun, whoop, whoop. Then I say, open your eyes. They open their eyes, and then one of the brothers pull up in a truck, and what are they playing? They're playing the audio. Yanun. And everybody like, bro, what? They tripping out. I said, well, what are the coincidences of that? What are the odds of that? Y'all think I made that happen? I asked him when he get out. I said, yo, did I text you? He was like, nah. I said, I ain't text you to play that? He was like, nah. He said, it's been playing for like 3 minutes. It just so happened to be that when he pulled up, I had just told them open their eyes. You understand? And then they heard it. There are Things that align like that so you can see that it is a sign. And that happened all throughout what we call nun camp or camp. Pay attention to that word nun too. Like the nuns who preparing themselves for Christ. Stay with me. Stay with me. Green light. What does it mean? It's real, but what does it mean? El Qadr. Someone who stands in between the realities that you're used to. Okay? And brings you to a higher plane. Higher understanding. You don't have to think of angels as people with wings. You don't have to think of angels as people even dressed in all white. Let me show you how to think of an angel. Go to your mirror and look in it. That's how you think of an angel. Go to your mirror and look into it. There's an angel. If you so choose to accept your ability to reach the ranks. So when you're going for the ranks, you're going to have to do certain shit that you regularly wouldn't do. What is that? They tell you what to do. They tell you to fast. All right. They tell you to meditate or pray. Okay. They tell you what foods not to eat. Don't eat unclean foods. Okay. They tell you in the biblical scriptures. They tell you in Al-Quran. They show you in the holy books, the Vedas. They show you what type of information you'll be able to access. As a Buddhist, they show you what you'll be able to access. You're becoming an angel, meaning you yourself will be what's referred to as a Nuwabian. Nuwabian. Nuwabin. You become of Pa Munwapu. The Nuwapians. Prophets. You become one of the prophets. Notice, when the brothers were surrounding me in a live entitled Angels in Training. Notice what I said. I said, everybody bow down to me. And what did they do? They said, no. Do you get it? Because Nature Boy had people bowing down to him. He is not the Christ. He is not the Ancient of Days, because the Christ wouldn't want you to do that. No, I'm not calling myself the Christ. I'm just letting you know the angels ain't into that. Stay with me. If you don't know Christ is an angel, you better wake up. The angels ain't into that. They'll say, yo, don't bow down to me. I am your fellow servant. Okay? I am your fellow servant. Aligned with the prophets. Prophet. Nebi. Nebi. Nubu. Nubi. Nuwabi. Nuwabi. Nuubu. Nuubun. A prophet. Nuwabi. In. Prophets. Munwapu. Nuwabiens. Now, you can take that S off of it, like I told you, because when you're saying the word, they put the S on it to help. You making it plural. The in is plural. Novim, noviim, navim, nebiun, prophets. Enbiya, prophets. Those who now have the ability to come out and give people a word. And that word is to show you a mystery. Things that are sure to come to pass. Sure to come to pass. That's why y'all be like, Omari, you don't miss. So Omari, you ain't missed. I said, I don't. That's not what we do. I'm just waiting on somebody to tell me when I did. I'll tell you, this is going to happen, this is going to happen, this is going to happen. And it actually happens. You see? I said, come outside. I'll show you a mystery. If we would have been standing out there and then nothing happened, I told the brother, I said, wouldn't that have been embarrassing? For me, how do I just count on the fact that something's going to happen on the magnitude of all the power going out in the neighborhood because we're doing what we're doing? And a green light flashing in the sky. because we're doing what we're doing. How I just count on that? If that's the case, then I'm the most coincidental prophet that ever existed. And you don't got to call me no prophet. You see the difference? You don't need to call me that. I'm just saying the prophets have the ability to speak beforehand. That's the etymology of prophet. Those who speak before. So I can tell you or walk into a room and breathe on you. Listen. And when I breathe on you, you start changing epigenetically. My spirit, okay, of truth goes into you, activating your spirit of truth. What's the word spirit here meaning? Genetics. So when you shift someone epigenetically, oh, check this out. You're around someone who's always working out, always putting in work, always putting in reps, always da-da-da-da. Eventually, it's going to start impressing upon you. You're around somebody who got a cool ass lingo, da-da-da-da, woo-woo. Eventually, it starts impressing upon you. If you're around somebody who always scamming, don't really give a fuck about people, you know what I'm saying? Got people bowing down to them, all this other stuff, it's going to impress upon you. If you serve an aggressive leader that thinks women are bitches if they don't want to join in on polygamy because they haven't risen up to their highest self, it's going to impress upon you. And then eventually you're going to start shape-shifting and changing form, transforming after their light. And if they didn't have a light that was actually pure, guess what happens? Their tainted light becomes your tainted light, and souls are lost. So you find these souls getting on live with me, trying to tell me that there's one dreamer, one Christ, one Eligio, and I'm showing them this person has perverted the sciences. You need to be cautious of what occurs when that happens. And they're not able to take the conversation to the degree in which I want to take it to, which is what? Let me show you what I know. You don't know it, so don't believe it. Yanun is not a man. You keep asking me about Malachi. You keep asking me about a man. Yanun is not a man. The green light is not a man. The force or forces of nature is not a man. So while you deflect to a man, you're missing the gems that allow for you to understand what all of this actually is. Then you'll be able to see the difference between what is real and what is not real. Who is true and who simply is not true. Is anybody confused about that? Do you think everybody who teaches something is telling you the truth? Is that what you think? You think everybody teaching is telling the truth? They're not. Maybe they would like to, but they don't want to let go of what? The ego. It says, you really don't know, do you? Well, you better learn and get to know. So, question, is Jesus coming, Omari? Is he arriving? Will Jesus come? Answer, Jesus is already here. Already. Now, will all be ready? No. Few will be ready? Possibly. Jesus has come many times and you missed him. Watch this. Now, again, they bring up extraterrestrials and aliens, but where is the conversation about the melanin dominant or black extraterrestrials? Because that is when you start talking about Jesus. They're going to have to start doing it. Pay attention. They're going to have to start doing it, and they're not going to want to. Watch. Mark my words. They're going to have to start speaking. If they're talking about disclosure of extraterrestrials, and they've been repeating it for all these years, they're going to have to start speaking publicly about Jesus and the return. And then you're going to have the people who know nothing about what they speak of who are going to tell you it's Project Blue Beam. They're going to have to start talking about, if you're going to talk to me about aliens, What about the angels? Are angels extraterrestrials? Are they the ones that the holy books were talking about? You know, when they ask questions in the scientific films and documentaries, they're giving you the answer, but they can't just come out and say it. That's the rules. So are there extraterrestrials? Are they the angels? Is Jibril, not Jibril Muhammad at 19 keys. Is El Malik Jibril, the angel Jibril, is that, or angel Gabriel, is that an extraterrestrial? Where did he come from? El Ismail Miraj, where did they take Musa? Or where did they take, Muhammad? Where did they take him? To the heavens. What's the heavens? When they took Ezekiel up, what did they show him? A land mat or platform for her vehicle. They took people on ships and showed them things in the scriptures, and you say visions. All right. Where are these ships now? Ask the Hebrew Israelites who screamed to us about chariots of fire, where are they now? Some of the Hebrew Israelites will answer you and say, those are the UFOs. Some will say that. Do they know that there are not just quote unquote good angels or good ETs? That some of these beings flying around in these crafts could be flesh eaters like Baal? Do they know? Now, remember, you were just cuckoo crazy if you were talking about extraterrestrials, but now that your government is saying more and more every day, extraterrestrials are real, UFOs are real, I guess now we're no longer crazy. I guess now you can't side-eye Dr. York too much, can you? I guess now when you go and read Man from Planet Risk and you realize all they're doing is just talking about what he put in a book over 30 years ago, right? I guess now he's not crazy. I guess now when you talk about the holy tablets, speaking of extraterrestrials, I guess now he's not crazy because the government is saying it. And that's what he said will happen. The more the government talk about it, people will believe it. If he's quote unquote white man or the white man tells you, then you believe it. But he's saying it. People don't want to hear it. Honorable Elijah Muhammad talking about it. They don't want to hear it. Yahweh ben Yahweh talking about it. They don't want to hear it. But that's what all these stories were saying. Extraterrestrial vehicles. So, question. Christians, where is Jesus now? Right now. Muslims, where is Isa now? Right now. Yiddish, where is Tammuz now? Tammuz, where is he? Hindus, where is Krishna now? Where? Where? Spiritual people, because y'all have Christs. Where is divine insight truly? Because you know Rashad Jamal wasn't divine insight. He claimed it, but he wasn't. I put him to the test. If you're divine insight, you can't get it wrong. And I showed you in a book, I said 99 lies of Rashad Jamal. If you're divine insight, you're not getting it wrong once. I showed you he got it wrong 99 times, and I showed you proof. That's not divine insight. You say, well, you can't tear another man down, another black. That's not a black man. I thought you said he was divine insight. You got to pick. Is he one of the creators of the cosmos, or is he a black man? You got to pick. Is he divine insight plugged in to be able to hear all of what the ethers is teaching? Is he accessing the Akasha records? Or is he a black man that gets it wrong? Over and over and over again. And over and over and over again. And over again and over again. I did that on purpose. I didn't need no clout off Rashad Jamal. You see? I did that so that the people who were following him could at least have and some people did wake up. Let's clap it up. Some people did wake up because people have told me, yo, I don't know what I was going through. You were going through a spell. In science, is referred to as psychosis. Psych-osis. Psych, oasis. Psych is what? Fake. Oasis, water. When you're walking through that desert, which a lot of you are, especially when you say you want to go for and obtain and achieve spirituality, there's fake water in the desert. It's a mirage, as they call it. It's a fake oasis. It's not really an oasis. Oasis is where the water is located, information. So they pose as hordes of information, places where you can pull from water. And then they give you prophecies. And they say things like, by 2021, there will be no banks. How many people still got a bank account? Wrong. That's called a false prophet. They said all of the officers and everything was going to be coming into your house, slap you in your face with a pistol, and making you take whatever they were pushing in 2020. Remember that? Did that happen to anybody? Did it ever happen? No. False prophecy. Rod Hayes said they were going to rain lightning in 2021. If they didn't release Larry Hoover, did lightning rain? No, it didn't rain. That's a false prophecy. False prophecies come from false prophets. Okay. Phase one said, you're going to see the whole drill culture shit die out. You're going to watch these huge celebrity drill artists. They're going to literally die out. And when that happens, you're going to see phase one's pillar rise up in the East. And my name will be in the conversation. We're going to take it over. Okay. People said, yeah. And then it happened. One by one, they dropped. And then phase one's pillar rose up. In that same year, after the last piece in November of their collapse, where their sacrificial lamb takeoff was removed. And they did that ritual on camera with the dice game. Listen. And the paperwork and the contract with Quavo, and he knows. That music video came out at an eerie point in time, didn't it? October 31st was an eerie point in time. November 1st was an eerie point in time. Remember those times? 2022? And then, bow. When the occurrence took place, listen, all the celebrities were getting on the internet saying, we need to stop this drill. And then you saw what happened. Phase one's pillar go from 20,000, 30,000, 60,000, 100,000. And by March, we were at 100 and something thousand. It started to rise. 2023. That's when you saw me go around all the other people and they crowds of people and the vegetarian guys and all this other stuff and things that was going on all through 2023. Actually, 2022, that's what happened. In 2023, you saw me going up with the mate when we did the first mass fast. By then, we were at like 200,000 almost. And you saw me going through. We did the pop song and we kept going and we hit the dragon. And I said, watch for 2024. Then you saw what happened there because I told people that people would turn on Drake, and then they turned on Drake. Platform kept rising. Kendrick Lamar thing happened. All this. I said, yo, look, a wildfire is about to happen. Two days later. 2 days. Not years. Not months. 2 days later. Not just a wildfire. Hollywood was on fire, nigga. And I said in my song that I wrote prior to the Hollywood fire, I said, fuck Hollywood. Fuck them. Burn their ass alive. You can run, but you can't hide. Fuck Hollywood. Remember, I told you, hey, Pusha T has a situation going on because his word's been given to me. Pusha T got a situation going on. That nigga wrapped up in that harvesting shit, all that trafficking shit. He wrapped up in it. Remember, I was on Clubhouse talking about it. A lady called Pusha T and got him on the phone. And he was listening to me talk. And she was like, Pusha, what you got to say about this? He didn't say nothing. She said, oh, he hung up. He don't got time for us. I said, nah, You realize he just hung up. You gave him the opportunity to be like, that ain't real. Da-da-da-da-da. But the details I just gave, how he gonna say that ain't real if the person that was drugged up by whoever them folks were that got out the car and put and injected him with whatever they injected him with, got him seeing goats on his bed and all of that. That person is real. We can hit it and get in contact with, and he know what happened. Stay with me. Remember I said that. What happened? Pusha T name pop up in the Epstein files. I predicted that. I just guessed that. Stay with me. Access to information to show you what things is going to come to pass. And people think, but it's not. If you can watch somebody clench their fist up and cock their arm back, what's going to happen if they stand in front of somebody and they're upset? This nigga finna punch this nigga. You see? If I say, this nigga finna punch this nigga, and he actually do, you shouldn't think that's magical. You should think that I'm just able to pay attention, and people are not paying attention. They're not able to calculate because they're not paying attention. And there's so many things to pay attention to. I don't see how you can't. Why would you let this much time go by without you paying attention to? You see? So I said certain things will happen, and it happened. I said, we sending Diddy them straight through the floor. Diddy finna get hit. Then after I announced that, stay with me, Diddy posted the sage and the amethyst, and we protected over here, all that stuff. Yeah. Then they hit him. Now, watch this. When I said phase one's pillar would rise, what if I just stayed at like 20,000? What if all these times done passed and I didn't go up? You know, that happens. People say they're going to go up and they don't go up. They don't go anywhere. Correct? Okay. Is that what happened with phase one? No, we went from 20,000 when I was saying it to now 700 some thousand. We went up, and we went up just not in the followers, in the views all over the internet. Okay, we're making our mark all over the place, and people that are coming with me are making their mark all over the place. This is not something to play with. You see? I mean, it's real. Look at with 1440 Ty, and he the one that brought it up. What did I say? I said, yo, something about to happen with Malachi name and the algorithm. It's finna blow up. Shortly after, 1440 Ty went viral, saying, free Malachi York. People driving by saying, free Malachi. I said, look, and he said it. He said, man, you just said it was going to happen. It happened. Yeah. You see? So my point to you is, they say things are going to happen. It don't happen. You can check my records. I record everything. All you have to do is go to Phase One Live Archive or Voice of Phase One and just go through and look. These are the sisters who record the lives. And just go look. Sometimes I'll do it for you. I'll come on here after something didn't happen and I'll play something and I'll say prophecy from such, 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 such. Prophecy from this time, this time. Prophecy from that time, that time. Right? I guess people ain't paying attention. I am a Nubian. Don't call me no prophet. You don't got to do that. I am a Nubian. And I'm showing you what Nuwapu is. I'm not just telling you, especially those of y'all who've been around. I'm showing you what it is. All the people, they come together, we gather, we had no fights, no problems, okay? Ain't nobody smoking weed, ain't nobody doing drugs. You see the people, they come together and it's smooth, it works, the sisters get along. You know what I mean? Even if they have a little issue off to the side, it's mainly be the women. Not just to say all women, I'm saying it's mainly be the women when they maybe have issues every now and again. They still handle it, no issues, nothing blew up. You see? No brothers getting into it. Had brothers stand for camp in a small area about the size of a trailer. 20 brothers, no problems. And I don't give them the schedule or the work or none of it. They have to figure it out. You got one shower, you got one bathroom, figure it out. They figure it out. What that sound like? No, I'm not comparing myself to him. I'm saying what that sound like. He said, I expose you to the harshest conditions. I put you through the, you know what I'm saying? The toughest. He said, now who can stand against you? He said, one day you're going to understand what I'm doing. He said, I had brothers sleeping on the floor. Listen, said there's rats in there. So? So they might bite you. Well, then don't get bit. Somebody always get bit. Why you got to be the one to get bit? Don't get bit. It's hot in there. So? There's no AC. So? It's too cold. So? He said, one day you'll get it. But these brothers ain't going to be no hoes. You see? Because how you going to walk through the fire if you a hoe? How you walk through a fire if you scared? And you're going to walk through the fire. Most of the brothers will tell you, soon as they start walking, some of them regretted it because things start popping up in their life. But I told them that. I told you, when you start transforming, okay, you're going to offend people. And you're not going to know why. You want to know who else said that? Malachi York. He said, go watch, where did Cain get his wife from? In there, he explains it. Some of y'all came with your mate and they didn't walk with you. They didn't keep going. It wasn't something that had to happen. It's just they didn't make it. But you arrived with your mate. This is how it always goes. When two people come, they say two will be in the field. One will be left and one will be taken. There's always one say, I'm going to go and do my own thing, but I'm going to still be in Nuwapu. The world eats them alive. You see, when you arrive as a unit, you have to complete that way. Or one is going to break and the other is going to move on. Unless one allows one who isn't walking to pull them out of it. That's another thing that I saw happen. Say, man, I can't be coming, you know what I'm saying, because my wife not with it or my husband's not with it, woo, woo. I said, okay. I never tell people, yo, man, you got to be here. I never tell people, yo, no, you all right, well, if you leave, you can't come back. I don't do none of that. Matter of fact, people that left and came back. And they get treated with the same love and respect as if like they never left. And I'm not talking about just something small. I'm talking about we done had situations where then with big slander, all kind of stuff, and people joined in. And people around me say, yo, man, are you all right? I said, I'm good. You don't know me. This is all a part of it. And then they come back. And then it's like, you're welcome back. You could tell the other two, they're welcome back. Because this is not my thing. I don't have the right to take anything personal because it's not my thing. I didn't create the orders. I can just introduce it to you. You see? So some people said they want to walk. Remember I said in the Rahubat song, you got to listen to my music, I tell it all. What I say? People have been asking, is there any more room in the order of the prophets? Listen, Nuwapu. You see? Any more room? Well, I tell you, of course there is. This ain't my thing. How I'm going to tell you there's no room for you to change and transform? Watch. And where did Cain get his wife from? Malachi explained, when you get to transforming, your mate may start turning on you. He said this. You won't even know. He said you won't even know why. They just start turning on you. Everything is just an argument. Everything is this. He was explaining it. Go watch it. I remember watching it as a younger person. I wasn't in no relationship, none of that. He said it can happen. So some of y'all need to be aware of that if that's what's going on, because some of the brothers are talking to you. Y'all understand, a lot of the brothers are going through the same thing. Why? Because when you were sitting around lazing, you're under her control. A lot of the women, they want to get with you for who and what you are and what they see, and then they want to conquer you. I don't know what that is, but they do. And then when you're just around lazing and not glowing and not being you and not growing, it's good. The moment you want to start doing your push-ups, working, locking in, woo, now it's a problem. Everything's a problem. Everything's a problem. Now they doing this. Now they cheating. Now they da. Does that make sense? To someone with sense, it wouldn't make sense. When you start advancing, your partner is supposed to celebrate you. Men and women. It ain't just for the men. Y'all sisters, y'all need to hear this too. When you start advancing, if your mate isn't celebrating you, you need to get away from them. You see? When you start advancing, and you got somebody, you look over your shoulder, literally, and you see someone staring you cold, it might be time to get away from them. If you don't, what did I tell you a while ago? I said, if you don't, they're going to try to drag you down with them because they don't think they're going. You better know the breath of Zuin. The breath of Zuin is poison. He can't help it. Once he get in that body, it's that body becomes Zuin. Sin, Sama, poison, Samael. And they started, you notice that? They get to breathing and hissing a certain way, literally. And you watching, if you ever found yourself watching and trying to figure out what is going on in the biological workings of this person, you're watching a possession. And the only thing in that moment that possession is for is to destroy you. And sometimes they can't destroy you immediately, so they nip at you, tear at you, bite at you. They'll bite your heel. They'll bite your toe. They'll bite your leg. They'll bite your thigh. They'll bite your breast. They'll bite your head. They'll bite your... Next thing you know, you're bleeding out all over. You see? You better be cautious because there are beings lurking around. They don't want to support you. They don't want to put you up so that you can go further. They want to pull you down. And what Pop said over and over, he said, you might be married to one. You might be sleeping with one. It could be your mother. It could be your father. You better know this. I'd be remiss if I don't tell you. You want to go up in them ranks, I'm going to say it again. Your life is going to get realer. There are brothers hit me. I just have to hit them every now and again. I say, yo, stay in the game. Because I can feel them. I know where they at. Yo, stay in the game. They try to tell me everything. I know what's going on. Yo, man, I'm going through stuff. I'm sorry I ain't been able to show up. If you want to take me out of the group, I'm not taking you out of the group. Get in the game. This is what happens. You're going to go through the fire. Some of y'all going to go through more fire because you're catching up late. But you have to endure. You have to go through it. You see? Yeah, I try to offer solutions however won't stick with them. Yeah, they're not finished. And if they don't finish, they'll finish you. Finish what? They're not finished transforming into that being who will be able to transform into that being. People are trying to transform for two people. You ever heard the women say when they pregnant, they're feeding two? I'm eating for two. Some of y'all just be hungry. But most of the time, the women say, because they feeding a child. You understand? That's real. So you're giving someone Nuwapu, and it's like they want it, but they're possessed. So you would think, yo, I'm going to give this person, this thing is going to elevate them. And it does. And then it causes something inside to grab at them. And then you watching them fight themselves. You think it's you. It's not you. They're fighting themselves because they don't want to do the work. If you're fighting you and you just sit there and let you beat your ass, that ain't doing the work. You have to do y'all have to understand what I'm saying. There's nobody. And the hardest part about the angels is having to watch their people lose. And they can't intervene. You need to be watching for when an angel take his hands off or her hands off. You see, there's no hell like God not being around. Stay with me so you don't mystify what I just said. Let me give you an example. Let's say you have an investor who every day they give you $1 million. But you picked up all these habits of you splurging the million because you just know it's going to be there. And they tell you, you need to invest your $1 million. I'm not always going to be here. You need to invest your $1 million. You need to invest your $1 million. Yo, even if they don't say I'm not going to always be there, they might say, listen, if you don't invest your millions the right way, you ain't going to be able to go where I'm going. Because where I'm going, you got to at least have 9 million to get in the door. They say, okay, I got you. You come back, say, how many million you got? I don't have no million. How you don't have any million? And we've been walking this long, and I'm telling you, no, well, I don't have $1 million. Okay, I'm going to give you another $1 million. But then that angel only has a certain amount of millions that they can give you before they start having to go into their millions. You listen? And they must have what? $9 million to get in the door. So eventually I have to say, listen, I can't keep giving you $1 million. Angel has to take his hands off or her hands off. You see, some of y'all better realize that because you're down to your last 13 and you about to give away another $5 million and you're going to be out of your own entry. You see, people want to go, step out of the way and let them go. They want to do their thing. They think they figured this out. Step out of the way and let them do it. You let people do their thing long enough, you'll realize that's what they were going to do anyway. You were just there giving them million. So they just using your million. They didn't even want millions. They would have been all right with 1,000. And they would have never entered because it wasn't their ranks. You're trying to force angelic hood on people and you're causing damage to yourself. You can't do that. Some of y'all, it's your siblings. Some of y'all, it's your mother or father or cousin. Some of y'all, it's a friend. And you're like, why don't they get it? Listen, if they don't get it by now, right now, they're not going to get it. And if you don't get that they're not going to get it, you're not going to get it. Let go of that ego of thinking you're Jesus and you're about to save people. You better pay attention. You ain't going to save people. You can only show people how to save themselves. Everybody got to get on their motorcycle or their unicycle, right? All right. We got to ride out on a unicycle. You got 3 months to learn how to ride the unicycle. Have I lost anybody? There are going to be people who wait till the last 2 hours. And you know whether or not you could do this. Don't get it twisted. Some people, including myself, will wait till the last minute. You know whether or not you can wait till the last 2 hours. If you ain't the I can wait till the last 2 hours type, you need to be learning that shit before the motherfucker told you that. Listen. Pay attention. People gonna get on their unicycle and fall. And you gonna ride on. And you can't go back. You say, wait, my friend. The road is disappearing in your lane behind you. You can't go back. And you can't get in their lane. There's no way. So you're gonna watch or hear, because you can't look back, your friend fall. You see? Can you keep riding? Pedal on. If you can't, then you'll fall. That's reality. Not everyone will make it. You better pay attention to what I'm saying. We got 100 million New Wapians. And I can count off on hand who I could even call to let them know what's moving. Because everybody think they know what's moving. And I'm watching over and over and over again. I'm like, they're not even listening. There are people creating AI images. Listen, I'm not talking about just these people on the internet. They don't know any better. It was our job to tell them, especially they want to be associated with what we got going on. It was our job to tell them, yo, stop creating AI images of the images. The images are how they are for a reason, and it's a part of our story. They turn this image, and this is real. This image right here, nigga did an AI and posted it to talk about it, and it looked like this. Say, who the fuck is that? That don't even look powerful no more. It look like this nigga asking us for $1, don't it? Just think about it. Just think about it. This nigga asking for $1, and them two niggas behind him finna come here. They already, oh look, oh he about to get $1. Now they finna come ask for a damn $1. Pay attention. Hey, Pinnacle, don't ever do that again. Don't ever tell no female in this live to shut up. I'll block you. This nigga look like he asked for $1, don't it? Okay, cool. That don't look powerful no damn no. No damn more. All right, let's put the real image back on. And I want you to look at this image, remember this image. Remember this shit? Think about it. All right, now look at that. Now it makes sense. The hell with that. You know what I'm saying? Y'all better pay attention. They changing the images. I'm in there talking to them. I say, yo, why y'all doing this? There's nothing wrong with the images. Well, the images is fading. I said, nigga, it's the internet. They don't fade. Well, it loses resolution over time. You know how many times you have to send a photo around for it to lose resolution, to become some pixels, bushy shit? How is losing resolution? And somehow we ain't had no problem getting quality images of the shit that we pushing out. We ain't had no problem. No, you niggas just want to play with toys. When we got real shit going on, man, y'all just want to play with shit on the computer. Nigga turned it into a whole different image. That's not even the fucking image. Well, we want to make sure that, we keeping the images alive. Nigga, then just keep the images alive. There's nothing wrong with the images. Start an online museum where you keep all of the high-res images, and then there. Anytime people want to go get the images, somebody's fading, just go to the museum. You know what I'm saying? I mean, this is real. Nigga done changed it. Pops have on some glasses with some thing hanging from it. The thing disappeared. Nigga done added scratch marks. Look like a shark attacked him. I'm like, yo, that's not his scratch marks. What are y'all doing? One of the sisters asked, like, yo, what's this? I'm like, that's not even how that look. I said, y'all keep playing. Y'all know I'm going to look like Cat Williams in 30 years. That's a problem. You just keep changing the image. There's nothing wrong with the images. Stop AIing the images. Now, I'm not saying you can't add the image in a AI skit, all that. I'm not saying that. I'm saying, nigga, what's wrong with what we looking at? Why the fuck do we got to go from this to this? I just don't understand. That nigga look creepy. You know what I'm saying? I don't get it. You see? So y'all pay attention. All of y'all on y'all transformation journey, you better take it serious. I give you times and points so that you can know about certain times and know about certain points. Starting tomorrow, you got 19 days to June 19th. From June 19th to June 26th, a 7-day fast. All right? For those of y'all who will be around to see it. Or you can even participate if you're not there. It don't matter. But on June 26th, I'll meet you on the top of Stone Mountain at 3 p.m. I'll see you there. June 26th, 3 p.m. Now, I must add that there are stories that talk about what I'm telling you. And I must add, there are sciences that show what I'm showing you. I must add that June 26th is Dr. Malachi York's birthday. And if we're meeting on top of the mountain at 3 p.m. in the unseen degree, then expect, or don't expect, that this will be like nothing you've ever seen. Our children allowed. Yeah, bring your children. I'll tell you one thing. Whoever you bring, they're going to want to be able to make it on top of the mountain. You know, you can't just throw them up there. Stone Mountain is a walk. All right? So I'm about to announce it. When I announce it, that's when people really going to start preparing to arrive. And I'm telling how many people you're going to see up there. Just be ready. Because this has never happened before. All right. Any questions? It's 4 p.m. Any questions? Does that answer your question of is Jesus coming? All right. But any other questions? Yeah, public invitation. Anybody can come. It don't cost you nothing. I think it costs you to get through the gates of Stone Mountain. I don't remember how much though, so bring anywhere between $60 to $100 just in case. But I think they charge to get through the gate. It might not be that much, but you know, don't come down here empty-handed. But I'm not asking for any money. I don't need no money. What do you think about EFI? I think that EFI is something that people gravitate toward because they want to feel closer to their family. What do you know about the Narcotics of Nuba Mountains? I don't know anything about them. Dive deep into Crown? What about it? There's a free entry side? I ain't know that. What's the point? Or maybe they don't have no parking? Yeah, y'all look into it, though. How many people pulling up? June 26th. I'll tell you this. June 26th, 3 p.m., that's Stone Mountain. But I'm telling you, you want to be in Atlanta, okay, on June 26th. You want to be in Atlanta because a huge game is going to be played. But you won't be able to play if you're not in Atlanta. There'll be a huge game. I've given people time, you know what I'm saying? I think 19 days is long enough for people to be able to prepare. If it ain't, then it just wasn't for them. Where? I'm saying you want to be in Atlanta. You know, you get anywhere in Atlanta between 2 hours. So you want to be in Atlanta on June 26th because a big game going to be played. I'm going to show y'all a mystery. And then you're going to see me say, and now for my final mystery. You see? Or for my final miracle. Remember, I just be talking, right? I'm always just talking before we get to a place. Then people like, damn, he meant that. Damn, he said that. Damn, he did that. Only after the fact that people be realizing, nigga, I'm never just talking. This is going to be like nothing you've ever seen. Any other questions? So y'all good? All right. Is Jesus coming? Jesus already here. You leaving phase? What do you think? Just on staying awake during the 7 days? Nah. Nah. I don't have any tips. I'm not saying that there will be a 7-day stay awake thing. We will be staying up. I don't know about for no 7 days. Can you answer mine? What's your question? What is in store for us back in Africa? I don't know about us, and I don't know what's going on in Africa. What do I mean by he's here? There are many Jesuses, so whatever Jesus you'll be talking about, there are multiple ones. So one Jesus or rescuer and another rescuer may have different jobs, but they're still rescuers to do a job. The fast will begin on June 19th. That's a fact. Not staying up. Meaning we're not staying up from June 19th to June 26th. Now, that don't mean it won't be something that happens along those lines. But I'm just saying, y'all got to get, like, people say this and that and the third, but a lot of people going to be coming from straight out of the world with no work. No, there's going to be people complaining, all kind of stuff about certain things if we do certain things a certain way. How do you lead the streets and elevate yourself to this? You just do it. You just do it. If I said you'll get $1 million at the end of the week by doing it, you'll do it. So just do it. It got to matter enough to you. The value you place on it. You have to make it broad enough that it's still achievable, even if you don't pass what you thought you could pass. You still took on certain degrees before you finish. I don't know about a true sacred text. It depends on what you believe. You can believe the Bible is a true sacred text. But I am that I am is being said wrong by a lot of people. Right? Or I say like this, it could be said in another way for you to better understand it. Not I am that I am. I am that I am. Because there are different I ams. Okay? So I am that I am. I am the I am, or I am that I am, or I am that being that you have been waiting for. I am that I am. That being would be the I am or that being. Get it? Some people say I am that I am. Thinking that Hebrew is English. I understand though because, it's a lot of confusion. But as far as your answer to your question, it depends on what you believe. I don't believe the Bible is a sacred text. I know the Bible has sacred text in it. And sacred and secret, which teeter on the same edge, are pointing to something. Right? This is why the angelic ones of the Cosmosian order would appear with the sash over their heart. Say, I'm going to protect this that I know is sacred. And the heart is sacred. And the beat of the heart is sacred, pumping through the body. All of the information that you have centrally. You see? If you claim to be a technician, you pop up and somebody asking you technician questions, you can't answer it. You don't have no sacred in that field. You can try to wing it all day. That don't make you no angel. Angels are messengers. Nobody didn't have to tell me or allow me to be no messenger of Yanun. I decided that. And I became it. Like, do you need permission to go and work for Walmart? You decide you're going to get up and go work for Walmart. Correct? Okay. You don't need my permission to be no angel. You just decide that you're going to raise up in no ranks. Now, if you can trust to be guided unto guidance, then yeah, that'll be for you to see the signs so you'll know it's real. You're not seeking me, though. If I tell you I'm the messenger of Yanun and I'm telling you, go and seek Yanun, what would you make it about me for? You ain't going to get nowhere. I see people making it about me. I know they ain't going to make it. It can't be. We got to all be standing there together. You know what I'm saying? Shoulders broad, feet planted. And eventually the sisters going to have to get on point. I attempted to get the sisters on point. You have to understand, y'all want matriarchy. Y'all not willing to be led. You see what I'm saying? You have to still be able to be led to that. Because then someone's got to show you how you can unlearn patriarchy. And how are you going to be shown how to unlearn patriarchy by someone who doesn't know patriarchy? A patriarch has to show you how to unlearn patriarch so that matriarch can take its true form. But the women didn't want to learn. I don't know what the women had going on. Oftentimes, the women were too focused on what they want to do, all this, how they feel. I'm like, this is why women can't lead. Not in this form. They can't. They have to transform in order to lead. And so do the men. Don't get it twisted. So do the men. They had to transform. But it was harder for the women. So eventually I put women in position. I said, look, you be over this, you be over that. The women didn't do anything with it. I don't know why. Because I really was looking forward to the women being able to do something with it. When it came to the language and everything, it was all about the women. And the men showed up. I don't know what that is. No, the women were there, but they didn't show up. Meaning they wouldn't do the work necessary to. But I gotta say, y'all gotta work together. They came together, and the only group that fell apart was the women. You understand? The backbiting, the arguing, the this and that third, removing people out of stuff, all this stuff. That was women's stuff. And I didn't understand that because I'm like, yo, I know the women's supposed to be, you see, so we gonna have to work on the sisters eventually. But this is why you see men coming out of them share. I'm sure they might have figured out the same thing. Okay, we can't send the women on missions. The women got to hold down the house. But if you say that, they say, no, you being sexist. You did it. No, we're being realistic because we already put them to the test. They're not soldiers. Maybe that's not their natural thing. So whatever happened in the patriarchy that caused for people to think that women's supposed to be soldiers, We got to fix that too. It don't seem like the women can do that. Now, does it mean it's impossible? No. But you still have to be able to adapt a certain type of mentality to take on that form. You see what I'm saying? For example, it goes both ways, really. There was a situation that just took place that could have been dangerous. And it only happened when we involved the women. When we went out with the women. You see? Any other time, when we went out and it was just the brothers, no problems. If we saw somebody who could potentially be a problem, we just walked past them. We walking, ain't no display, no nothing. When we had the sisters with us, most of the brothers was like, putting on the display. You see? And I'm telling them, that's why that shit went down like that. Because y'all trying to prove you tough and all of that. You lost your frame trying to prove it to the women. But it's not the women's fault that the brothers did that. You know what I'm saying? That's the brothers. They can do that. Explain why, though. Explain what? I'm saying a lot of points. Specify what you want me to explain. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, when it's just the brothers being the soldiers, in what situation? Are you talking about what? What's the situation that you speaking about when you say the sisters did not act any kind of way? What's the situation? Walking the yellow brick road. Exactly. And pull back that veil and realize that's just an old man back there. That ain't no wizard. You know what I'm saying? Some of y'all people up under these folks talking about they Melchizedek, y'all better pull that veil back. That's just a little old man. That ain't no real wizard. That's what I did when he went live with me. How? He didn't have composure. He talk. Yeah, fuck, nigga. You retarded. I just sat there. And then I spoke. And I can't get a word out. I can't say nothing. As soon as I start speaking, I'm like, yo, check this out. You can't even intelligently communicate it. You're like, yo, listen, check this out. Here's the situation. Didn't I just let you speak? You done said all that. I let you speak, correct? All right, nigga, I can't talk. How we gonna have a conversation if only one person's talking? Go ahead. Say what you want to say. I'm gonna mute up. Nigga muted up for 4 seconds. After those 4 seconds, he unmuted. No, fuck that. You don't know what I know. You don't know. No. I'm like, that's not a leader. That's a little boy in an elder body that never figured out his center. You see that? So y'all better be cautious of who you following. And I would tell you, don't follow nobody. But you definitely need to be cautious of who you following if you choose to follow people. Somehow y'all get acquainted with somebody and forget they're still a person. You don't know what's going on in the mind of man. You can expose it, but you won't test them. You know what I'm saying? The sisters are able to work together when given certain opportunities. I would say certain women would work together, but all y'all didn't. Never was it once that all sisters were working together. There was always some type of competition. There was always some type of background. And you got to remember, I was there. So I was able to hear all different types of conversations, behind the scenes, all of that. It would seem like it. It would seem like they could, but they couldn't. And then we had to end the groups. That's just reality. We had to end it. Why we had to end chats? We got to end the goddess chat. We got to end this. Let me pause this, da. And then we had that going on. We put the sisters in position to lead, and the sisters don't know when it's time to lead. You see what I'm saying? What's leadership? Leadership is don't remove somebody from a group, publicly knowing that there are going to be people that observe that. You see? Don't remove people from the chat when people are going to publicly look and say, yo, this person's gone. And I said that, but they did it anyway. What was also leadership? Leadership is if y'all are going to get a sister on a phone to talk to a sister and tell her about herself, even though everybody that's telling this sister about herself, if they would have listened to what they were saying, it applied to everybody. If y'all gonna get a sister on the phone to tell her about herself, and then she get out the phone, don't stay on the phone and laugh and joke about her after. These are things I had to say. I said, yo, listen, whatever y'all would have done, if it would have been pure that you wanted to talk to her and make sure she was right in exact, when she get off the phone and y'all do that thing that women do, when y'all laugh and y'all talk and whoop whoop, you just dirtied up whatever atmosphere could have been clean if it really meant it was coming from the heart of you really want to work on this sister. You see? But that's what I observed. And a lot of times it happened like that. A lot of backbiting, a lot of talking behind it. And that's not saying everybody was doing it all the time. It just means that because of that, when we have SBI women, it didn't keep going. When we have SBI or the women in position to be able to form, they didn't form. I say, all right, SBI, we show up. SBI show up. Women, they don't have any direction. And they're just there. Now, they figure out things to do, but if they're just there, that means there's no organization. That's what we're saying. Now, it doesn't mean that it's one person's responsibility to do that. It just means that if you're going to look at it collectively, the women did not work together. You see? And look at what you're doing right now. You say, as if the brothers did not talk in the background. This means lack of accountability on women. Nobody made you the spokesperson for the women, by the way. You just jumped up and did it. But you're exemplifying what we're saying. Hey, yo, y'all can hear me? Yo, y'all hear me? Yeah, I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened. But yeah, I could still see y'all, hear y'all, all that. I mean, or see y'all comments coming in. I don't know what that was. The point wasn't to just isolate women because I don't think everybody even felt like that. It was just to say the women, y'all have more to work on, especially if y'all gonna be in that seat of matriarchy. Malachi noticed the same thing. I wonder what the questions for him would be. Malachi noticed that and had to move the sisters back to the back. When he first, according to what was being told to me by a woman, when he first put the women in position, he put them in position, but he was like, they didn't do nothing with it. So he had to put the brothers back in position. That's what I was told by my aunt. Right? But he want the women to lead. He want the women to, and I want the women to lead. And when I first started off moving people in that direction, I put everybody that was over a Telegram chat, anything we were doing, it was a woman. And what we only had the issues coming from there. You see? That's why I was like, yo, I didn't have no problem. I can't even think of no problems where the brothers was like at each other. I can't. But it happened a lot with the sisters. But that just means, okay, y'all have a lot of power and y'all need to know where to put it. You see? Y'all have a lot of power and you need to know where to put your power. You have to be able to. And you need to know where to put your power. You have to be able to stand like as you. I know what it is. I know what it is. So that's an overheated phone. Can y'all hear me? That was an overheated phone just then. Let me know y'all can hear me. All right. So yeah, that's all I was saying. I don't even want to keep. I wasn't even being this way. You can definitely fall back. Bro, why y'all being here talking to women like that, bro? That's what I'm saying. We can hear now. Yeah, for sure. Y'all be too big ready to go back and forth. You don't even know you going back and forth with a woman. But yeah. That's all I was saying. Maybe I need to get out the woman thing though, because then it's like it turned into a thing. All right. Well, what I like to see is results. People showing me, don't tell me. I used to be like the main voucher when it came to the matriarchy. But now, from my experience of seeing more and with my wisdom of seeing more, I'm like, nah, don't tell me about the matriarchy. You got to show me that women can handle their emotions. You got to show me that women can take accountability for them. You have to show me that women can actually run something. You got to show me that now and take the man out of it. Now you got to show me. That's how I look at it now. But I didn't start off that way. Especially as a young person, I was like, man, these niggas don't know nothing. They can't do nothing, da-da-da-da. And they can't. You see what I'm saying? They really can't. It's just the one that's balanced. You really can handle both fields. You know what I mean? So we'll see what happens. I didn't say anything. I'm just listening to you talk. Yeah, for sure. What's your Instagram archive page's name? Instagram or the live archive? You got Phase 1 Live Archive. Phase 1 Live Archive. And then another one is The Voice of Phase 1. And those are two sisters. I think that's how we got on this. It might have been. Those are two sisters who stepped up and they record the lives. Yeah, I'll take questions. Go ahead and ask me. Anything you want to ask? Transformation got to be real for those watching. You cannot fake this. This is real. And the only one you have to be blaming for you not making it will be you. You cannot fake this one. You could have faked it through everything else because it was already fake. This is the real deal. You find yourself missing it, It's like you're not aligning yourself. This is real. But like I said, eventually it becomes less and less talk about, more and more. It's like, okay, watch this. Especially after June 26th. What's the difference between the school of the bird and the school of the water? The difference between school of the bird, school of the water, for one, you got the birds of the air, the fowl of the sky, all right, and you got the fish of the sea. The bird, those who come from higher plane like Kachina. Then you have what they call the serpent people, or the Aquarians, or the aquatic beings. They come from beneath, abyss. The submarine comes up. The UFO comes down. Okay? The school of the water and the school of the bird still align with one another. If you look at some of these UFOs, they have the ability to come from outer air down into the water, or come out of the water into the air. Okay? What does it mean literally? That's what I just explained. Now, what does it mean metaphorically and allegorically? Yeah, no. The deepest waters, black. Okay? Yahshua, Yahuwah, Yah, Elo, or El Elo, Elion, the highest of highs, or skies, black. The higher you go into the heavens, darkness. The higher you go into Shamayim, up there, Shem, Mayim, waters, the waters up there, darkness. The lower you go into the waters down there, abyss, darkness. What you think you know disappears. No matter which direction you go, you have to be shown how to fly and shown how to dive. And when you're shown how to fly and dive, you pick up on certain sacreds along the way. And what you thought you knew, which is the light, disappears. And you return to darkness, whichever degree you pick up. That becomes the unseen. So whether you go ultraviolet, X-ray, gamma, you'll find cosmic rays. Whichever direction you go microwaves, or you go infrared, then you go microwave, then you go radio waves. You're still going into darkness, unseen. You don't know what this is. They have to show you. You see? Those who know don't tell. Those who tell don't know. They can't tell you. They have to what? Show you. I hold beneath my hand, you can't see it, a sacred. Ba-boom, 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 ba-boom. And I can't tell you. I have to show you. You see? So in order to be shown certain things, we be on Instagram. I can only tell you but so much on Instagram. Then certain people made it to be around. Now watch what's going to happen. Some people going to start ears picking up, say, maybe I need to be around. The time to be around has passed. Remember where it started? November 6th, 2023, the Green Light Movement. Okay? Where did it end? November 6th, 2025. So before the jump off point, you still saw me throughout 2023. And after the ending point, you still see me up to June 26th, right, of 2026, which is 6266026. How so? Dr. Malachi York put it as 6,000. How so? Dr. Malachi York put it as 6,000. AD. Who or what is 626? Stitch. Lilo and Stitch, and you'll see Stitch came in on a green meteorite. Correct? All right. Meteor Man, green. All right. El Qadir. Al-Khidr, green. Melchizedek, green. What color do you see around Yanu right here? Green. What color coming out of the craft? Green. What color surrounding Asa? Green. Another color you'll see, purple. Now, for those who were out there a few days ago, they saw both. Stay with me. They saw green and purple. Said it was green with a purple outline. If you were there to see that, go ahead and comment. I'm not going to let you comment if you weren't there. Now, prior to that, I put this in the chats that happened behind the scenes. This is an album that won't come out till June 16th. Or EP. And it's called, who knows, I might update it to an album. It's called Missing Persons Report. You haven't seen it till now, if you wait behind the scenes. Missing Persons Report. What colors do you see? You see green, and you see violet. Now, if I put this in the chat prior to people seeing green and purple lightning, flash, or light, flash, all right, what are the coincidences of that? What are the odds of that? At the bottom of the tree, you have the root of David, the 6-pointed star. On the tree, you have 8 leaves. Because why? Because the tree has already been shaken. The great falling away was already announced. You're late. We already know who's going to make it. I'll tell you that. Don't ask me how, because I can't tell you how. We already know who's going to make it. We know who ain't going to make it. You know whether or not you're going to make it. If you don't know, pay attention to what you're doing. Are you preparing to make it? Or are you preparing to remove yourself? Think about it. Some people showed up in the beginning. Some people just stopped showing up. Think about it. Like I said, some people said, I'm going to go out into the world. I'm always have Nuwapu. Enough activation hit them. What happened? They were out slandering the master. They were out slandering Malachi with everybody else. This just recently happened. You better be careful. Sin is at the door, knocking like this. Because people's countenance has fallen and they don't even know it. Some people, they're going to dip out right before the trumpet. They're going to try to run back into the door. You can't do that. It's against the rules. Say, no, I was here. I was always here. That's where you're going to have people turn angry and bitter about what they think they were entitled to after you left. Y'all ever saw the movie? What was the movie? Acrimony or something like that? With Taraji P. Henson? Taraji P. Henson in that movie, if it was Acrimony or something like that, what was the movie called, y'all? Tyler Perry, one of the Tyler Perry movies. The movie hard. Taraji P. Henson in that movie represents many people, masses of people that say they're walking and they're going to make it and they're going to do everything they need to do and they like that. And then what happens? It's not happening fast enough for them. You see? So they say whatever results they wanted, they lack patience. They're not getting it, so I'm leaving. You leave, and then you hear, burn. You hear the ferry take off. That's the dude getting the 10 million. And now you want to kill the dude because the dude got the 10 million and you think you're entitled to the 10 million. Listen, but this new person could be coming in just brand new, but they went the distance. You say, that's my 10 million. No, it isn't. You see that? Be careful. Sin is at the door. All you have to do is endure. If you ain't indoor, you can't. How people go indoor, they not indoor. People outside, talking about they indoor. No, you're not. This is tough. This is not easy. Sometimes you got to deal. Yeah, I don't know how that's happening. I keep turning the Wi-Fi off and using my data. But guess what? The shit keep turning back to the damn... Man, y'all pay attention, man. Better pay attention. People endure. That's how you endure. But people outside, it's how you get left. And then when the horn go on the ferry, you ain't in the doors. What you gonna be able to say? But that's what Pops was saying when the trumpet blows. When the trumpet blows over with, you hear that trumpet is over. He was saying back when he was teaching about many are called, listen, many are called who are chosen. Listen, many are called, few are chosen. Listen, many are called, few are chosen. Say that? So we'll call many, but only few were chosen to begin with. We know that. So that's how it goes. And they say, how cometh in hither without wearing your white, meaning without having your garb or garment purified? How you going to come in here? Why? If you know the attire is all white and you had time to get an all white. Well, I didn't have no all white. Why didn't you go get all white? You see what I'm saying? You could have bleached the clothes you got. You see? Could have did anything to make sure you had all white. It wasn't important enough. What you wanted to do was important. Where you wanted to be was important. Who you wanted to be with, that was important. It was more important than your soul. And we watch. We say, wow, look at that. They don't know what this means, so let me tell you what it means. Have any of you ever taken theater? Okay. In theater, there's something called a role. You with me? And when you have a role, you get into character. Pay attention. And when you're in character, what do? You play out that role. All right. So what if your role is to be phase one? That's a character. Listen. What if your role is to be Omari? That's a character. And your role is to be eyes and ears of unseen. Right? So you're playing a character and you go around and around and around and around and around and you test. Pow, boom, boom, and you show. And people swear they bear witness to the signs. They'll bear witness to the sign, then turn to you and stone you and try to tell you about you and pick you apart and da-da-da. Say, excuse me, how is this about me if you bear witness to the signs? How is it about Omari or phase one if you bear witness to the signs? Your hatred for Omari is going to be the reason you don't make it. Because you're making it about him, trying to use him as a scapegoat. You can't make it. You see? They said, don't ignore the signs. The signs will come. Don't ignore them. Don't trade the signs in for a fleeting gain. Don't get the signs and then go get something else that ain't worth shit. You see? Let me show you an example of that. Niggas coming on here telling you they were walking with the master and then end up under a nigga who was saying he's Melchizedek on the internet with nothing to show. Repeating what he's saying. You went from a doctrine that made sense to a nigga that don't really have a doctrine. Just repeating what he's saying. Stay with me. And that, watch, makes sense to them. Remember I told you 2023, 2024, Ascend City, remember that? I said, man, eventually you ain't going to be able to go down there and get them people. Remember I told you about the 1440 tithes and the Sundays before we got there? When I said what? Other orators will have to come out and help. It won't just be me alone. We got a sister here that can read Blue Kachina. We might have to come back on here and read Blue Kachina. It won't be able to just be me alone. There will be many other orators. Orator is just another way of saying aider of the light or aider. And I put that in the book. So don't think I'm just trying to say that because it sounds fine. I told you that. Orator, aider of the light, a speaker of the truth. Water, water, water. Word, word. A speaker of the light. Okay? What light? What's light? The true light. What true light? Light is information, true information. You got fake information. You got true information. An aider of the light, orator, is also what? Someone who's bringing the information, helping the light, or helping the one who brought the information get the information out. Messenger, angel. So an orator is an angel because that orator comes with a message. So there can't be one angel if we're speaking about what? Michael and his angels. Michael and his angels versus Satan and his angels. You see that? Or Tanin, the dragon who deceived. So if you come in to deceive Decepticon, then you got a message too. That means you're an angel. People think angel mean good. It don't. So watch. You got the root of David at the bottom. 6-pointed star. You trap the devil with that. I've shown you that. You see? How do you trap the devil in that 6-pointed star? You have to take from the west of the star, okay, to the southeast of the star, to the northeast of the star. You have to draw a line that meet in the center. So you have 3 lines that meet in the center. And that forms a cube. That 6-pointed star is a cube surrounded by those points. Okay? You trap the devil there. You see? Meaning you go in to an isolated place. Stay with me. In a cube, a small cube. And when you come out, anything that opposes your transformation should still be left there. Or you didn't transform. Now, that doesn't mean when you come out, you're just completely renewed. You will be renewed. The completion of that renewal or that light that you have from there on will be every point or decision that surrounds that. Meaning, if you go in to a doctor. Hold on, let me see who pulled it up. Who pulled it up? Okay. If you go into a doctor